For those of you that have followed me for quite some time now will understand that I've been wanting to do a certain world record. Now, I'm very happy to announce that yesterday I did just that. I did 1,113 men.
We can just go ahead and just burn the whole thing down at this point. Like I understand the story of Sodom and Gomorrah the older that I get. I get it now. I used to think when I was a kid that this is inhumane. How would a holy and righteous God destroy entire cities? And then I look at us now and I think to myself, if the meteor, the one we've all been secretly waiting for, if it hit right now, it's basically just a reset button. That's all that is. We are unbelievably cooked if this is the place that we are. And, you know, I can tend to be middle of the ground, kind of libertarian in some of my stances and my beliefs, nuanced. But when it comes to this, there is no nuance. I believe we need to destroy it, eradicate it completely. There was a reason why earlier in Western civilization, or at least American society, we had puritanical beliefs that we held, even laws that upheld some of those very same virtues. And again, some would say, well, that's a lack of freedom. That's a lack of this. Guess what the alternative is, guys?
In 12 hours. Now, obviously, it's going to take me a little bit of time to edit and upload this 12-hour video, but it will be going on my Fansly, and I will let you know once it's out. But yeah, within the next week, fingers crossed.
With women, it's always like some.
So the reason I started this video off with that right there is because I kind of want to play this from, I guess, in reverse, right? From the end to the beginning. How did we get to that place there? Because we didn't wake up there. As a matter of fact, in the last 70, 80 years, prior to the 1960s, this sort of behavior would be unfathomable. For a woman to be promiscuous at all, let alone outwardly promiscuous in the way we started to see with the quote unquote summer of love, which even back then, most of society was still in opposition to that. That was the fringe, right? But if we go prior, this was a woman dressed in today's normal average bikini. No, scratch that. Let me give y'all the real story. The man who created today's bikini, the little string up the crack, the little floss up the back, and the little basically bralette. The man who created that, it was a man, could not find models for his newest invention. And so he had to hire literal streetwalkers, women of the night. These were the only people who were willing to wear his new attire. And today, if you go to your average beach, that outfit would be considered conservative, the one he was trying to promote and sell. That's how far we've gotten. We came from a time where chasteness, chastity was a virtue. Today, it is an insult. Think about that. For a woman to be untouched is insane to other women around her in today's day and age, when before it was upheld a virtue. For you to be a woman who had slept with a second man, a third, unfathomable. Again, some of y'all are getting uncomfortable right now. I am glad. Please sit down and listen. This is not normal, and everything in your biology knows it's not normal. That's why you had to disassociate. That's why it is trauma-induced experiences that are the causation of this sort of behavior. It's not normal. It's been normalized. It's not natural. It's been glorified. It's been pedestalized. It's been pushed by the very same people who promised you that this was going to bring you greater freedoms, greater empowerment, greater liberation. We go back to that old tree in that garden, right? That old tree in that garden. If you eat of this fruit, you will be enlightened, empowered. How did that damn fruit go for y'all? Let's get into the second clip here.
Women, it's always...
Oh, by the way, this is from the Call Her Daddy podcast. I've done a few videos on this one. This is, I think this behind MSDNC. This is probably Lucifer's second favorite, I guess, mainstream brand. And this woman has become, I believe, one of the top 5 podcasters in the world. She has made tens of millions of dollars selling young women the idea that giving your body up for nothing, pouring yourself out to the world, is something to be admired.
like, something must be wrong with her. She can't keep a man. She must be a real bitch. What a cunt. I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I'm having the kind of sex I never had in my 20s or in my 30s. We should be the ones that are like, fuck you. Like, I'm gonna have an orgasm. But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old, and it was really fucking amazing. There's a casting.
Y'all hear how vulgar? Like, do you guys remember how your grandmothers used to speak? Unless you had one of them, you know, kind of off the cuff sort of grandmamas who just was, you know, out there. Do y'all remember the fact that if you just said certain words, not just cuss words, but I mean, you know, even if you just made allusions to things that were sexual, your grandmama would not, she would put some hands on you probably. She'd probably slap you in the back of your head. There were mothers who were once like that, but now the mothers have joined. This is a mother. This is a 49-year-old woman who's talking like that. That's why I didn't say mothers. I said grandmothers or great-grandmothers. I would even have to stretch it to. The level of vulgarity that we have allowed as a society is tied into this entire conversation. Everything is on the table. And I'm one of these guys who I believe genuinely that certain things should only be reserved to your relationships. Though I talk about a lot of things as far as, you know, my platform goes, there's not one subject I'm not willing to get into except for what the hell is going on between me and my lady. Bedroom activities. To be crass and crude and vile in that sort of way. I may make a platform in order to point this sort of stuff out, but as far as me pushing that, absolutely not. I don't want to be another part of normalizing this. I'm the type of guy, my girl's the type of girl who, you know, them type of scenes in movies, fast forward. Fast forward. Oh, you're a prude. I would rather be a prude than be controlled by my little head. I'd rather be a prude than be addicted to defilement, degeneracy, to filth. So yeah, I'll take prude all day long. I'll take prude. At 20 years old, it was between 19 and 21, sometime there. So I'm just gonna guesstimate at 20 years old. I made the conscious decision that I would no longer consume that type of content. And I slipped up 3 times maximum, and it's now been 10 years. I'm now 29 years old, so close to 10. I made that decision in alignment with the decision that I was going to get off drugs and clean myself up, etc. So I understand that it is an addiction, and we have accepted it as an okay, socially promoted, socially normalized, in the same way alcohol is, etc. It's just okay. We do it openly, we do it freely, we don't think twice about it. And if somebody is not willing to give into it, they're seen as the outsider. I mean, the amount of times my girl's been through situations like that, when whether it's colleagues and coworkers or whatever it is, they want to go there and she won't. And now, she's stained it as Mother Teresa or whatever the hell. The amount of times I've just checked out of conversations because I'm not about to go there. We become so used to being so crass and so crude and so sexually deviant. And you wonder why you have a Diddy sitting up there saying some of the most or at least the people around him saying some of the most disgusting things that he's done. And then the dude walks. And people outside the courtroom are spraying each other down with baby oil. This is real life. Yep, okay. Y'all don't believe me? Y'all don't believe me? This is what that produces here. Where are we? This is what that produces. A woman in front of the courthouse, barely dressed, getting sprayed down with baby oil in celebration of a complete perv. So yeah, we're just having cute talks, sitting here. And by the way, I do understand that there is a side of this which is really just compensation, or it is it's most of these people are trying to feel good about the decisions that they made. And so that's why I wanted to do this kind of backwards, like start from the end. And then how did we get here? We got here because women will tend to egg one another on as opposed to shaming this very behavior. We're supposed to have the mothers, the aunties, etc., the grandmothers, the sisters, older sisters, showing the example of how to act, how to be a lady, and also shaming the behavior that was unladylike. But instead, we have 49-year-old mother here, could be a grandmother in essence, speaking to a 20-something-year-old. I don't know if they're ever going to show Alex, the one who actually hosts the show, speaking to a 20-something-year-old about her sexual escapades. Escapades. Is that the word? Escapade? Yeah. So I'm going to let this continue. And then the last one is the most revealing. So let's go ahead. And again, I haven't watched the totality of this. So whatever happens, happens. This is a real life response.
Movie, and you'll have to go on Saturday night, and they gave me the address, and it was this director's house. The little voice inside me definitely said, this isn't right. I remember being furious with myself because I couldn't believe how I had let myself down. I was like, what the who the are you? Why the would you allow that? Until you are in this environment, don't tell me how you're going to behave.
Okay, and now we have the final video.
Abortions, I've had a few, right. But then again, I can't remember exactly how many.
What, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't this come up in last week's episode? We were just talking about abortions.
Because I was just letting you run with it.
Reveal it.
If you left the show right now, I completely understand. I get it. These are some of the hardest ones that I do when it comes to children, when it comes to this issue of, women literally executing their own infants.
Everything.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think maybe I want to say 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've had about 5 too. Lily, I've never.
This is the deaf, dumb, and blind leading the deaf, dumb, and blind. That's what this is. You know what's interesting to me is when the so-called patriarchy was in charge, this didn't exist. Yet it's men who are over-sexualizing women, right? It's men who are turning women into this because of our expectations. And I would say, you know what? Yeah, there's quite a bit to do with this. Sure. You have men who are lusting after these certain types of women and things of that nature. And then that creates an expectation. And there are men who are not showing up in their daughters' lives. And yeah, 100%. But who is the one who is cheering this destruction on? The women in the beginning here, and I'm going to get back to that last clip. This chick, her mother is her manager. Oh, sorry. I think her father's involved and her mother. The other one is Bonnie Blue. I confused the two. They're the same Jezebelian spirit. Her mother is her manager.
And you can say it, and no one came to shoot us down.
Imagine being such a foul, far gone, inhumane, dare I say demonic individual, that you're laughing about taking the lives of 5 of your children. And when I hear these types of things, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how does a woman feel who is infertile and has been trying so hard to have a child, going through IVF treatments and going through all sorts of other avenues in order to bear a child? And then on the other side, you have women who are laughing, giggling, and celebrating taking the lives of 5 of their infants. How many women have had miscarriages that they've never recovered from? They've never been the same since. Stillborns. I know this is not easy, but we have to go there with this. And then you have this. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Five, 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've heard about 5 too. Lily, I'm so happy I can say that, and you can say it, and no one came to down.
I can't remember. Yeah. I've had a few, but
So when it comes to this, and I'm likely going to do just a video about this by itself because it needs its own. And maybe this is going to lead me to eventually start like a private group or something where I can be more candid about some of these things, because I do have to watch for, some of these booby traps that are set out by YouTube, etc. But I still do my best to say it exactly how it is. Imagine this sort of glee coming from a woman whose God intended purpose is to bring life, is to nurture life, is to care for life, is to coddle. Imagine having a response of laughter and celebration from the very individual who is supposed to be preserving it. That's how I know evil exists. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3-6-5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising.